Hi. I'm in my room in California at home. It's day, I don't even know, of quarantine. Probably like day 30. I think it's been 5 weeks since I've been home. Right now, it's finals time and it's bittersweet because I'm home and I love it and I love being with my family and feeling safe, but I know that I would have been in Spain right now if all this hadn't happened. Here I have my travel journal. Here I have a little like see-through thing with things I collected. I have a receipt from El Corte Inglés as well as part of a bag from there because that's where I went to get my clothes when my luggage didn't make it on time. Kiko Milano is a makeup store that used to be here too, but it closed, so like that was special to me too, that it was on the main street of Spain. This is a Kit Kat wrapper, and I have it because I bought a pack of 5 dark chocolate Kit Kats and I opened it and I did not expect them to be wrapped in foil, and I just thought that was really cute and fun. I have a receipt for 100 Montaditos. You can't not go there if you go to Spain. And then I also have a card for perfume sampling because I bought a new perfume while I was in Spain. I collected a lot of postcards from places I went. This is from Guadalest. I also have this art piece postcard type thing from Altea. Here's more from Granada, from Cordoba. Murcia, I couldn't get a postcard from Murcia, so I grabbed a pamphlet from the tourism office. It's actually in Russian, but it has pictures, so it works. And then we have journal entries. So this first one is about me arriving in Alicante. My travel day was 18 hours long. I write about how I packed for literally days. I had a suitcase just in my room that I added to, subtracted from. Just, I wanted to make sure I brought everything I needed but nothing more. I had a crazy day. I had to download a lot of movies to get through it. My family, a member of my family helped me get my SIM card, which was so sweet. I thought my family was so selfless and sweet all the time. I can't thank them enough, honestly. My Spanish at that point, I was still really nervous about talking. So then I wrote about going to Elche, and I have a receipt here because I bought, in the shoemaker town, a pair of boots. So I wrote all about Elche and how I went to the basilica, and I just had a good time. And then I also wrote about Guadalest and Altea. I went on a trip with CS Idiomas through the university. So we went to both places in one day. We got a few hours in each place. In Guadalest there was a really old church, like a tiny one, and then a really old house. And then Altea was beautiful with the basilica. It's actually the one that I showed you earlier. And I took a tapas cooking class after that, it says, and that was a lot of fun. And I also went on a bike tour, and those two things were through CIEE, and that was so much fun. I also got a ice cream from a place near my house. And yeah, I just had been doing exploring and getting to know Alicante even better. Oh, my next entry is on February 7th, and it's talking about things that have happened in Alicante. I hiked the Serra Grossa off of Boulevard del Pla, and I also ate sushi. at a place near my house, and it was really good, and I missed sushi a lot. And oh, and I wrote here about meeting my cultural partner for the first time. Her name's Judith. She's really nice, and I still talk to her. So that's cool. And then here's my entry for when I went to Murcia. Oh, and here's my receipt for going into the Cathedral of Murcia. And that's that crazy, beautiful looking cathedral that I have the Russian pamphlet for. I went to Murcia. It was really fun. I had Tinto de Verano and we walked around. I was so surprised. The bus was just like an airplane. It had like seat back monitors and stuff. My jaw completely dropped to the floor when I saw the cathedral. I wrote that, and I paid €5 to walk around it. I also got a chocolate hedgehog from a little store nearby. It was really fun. And then my next entry is about Amsterdam. I had such a good time in Amsterdam. I know that I studied abroad to learn Spanish and learn about Spain, but going to Amsterdam and only speaking English for 3 days, it did mess up my Spanish. When I came back, it was a little harder to talk to my family because I like fell out of the flow of like talking and using it a lot, but it was so fun and not as stressful since I was in a place where I felt like I could easily communicate. But you know, that's a good and bad thing because you grow from hardships. And here I have a little collage of things from that trip. I have my bus ticket to and from the airport. I have my boarding pass. I have this from the Rembrandt house. And I have a postcard of one of Van Gogh's pieces of art, and this is a bridge that I saw while I was there. It just sucked a little bit because the weather on my last day was really bad. But while I was there, I went on a canal cruise down the canal. I went to the Van Gogh Museum. I went to Rembrandt's house, and I went to the Rijksmuseum, which is like the museum of like Dutch history, kind of. And I stayed in a hostel for the first time, which was really a memorable experience. I wrote the entry about my Amsterdam trip a month after I went, and would you believe it, I haven't written my entry about Cordoba and Granada yet. Because when we went to Granada with, like, through CIEE, I afterwards, alone, went to Cordoba. I stayed in a hostel, which was amazing. I paid $20 to stay in this hostel, and it was the most beautiful house that I could have possibly stayed in. And as part of the hostel, breakfast was $3. It was also free as part of the hostel to go on a guided tour, so I ended up meeting up with people like to spend the day in Cordoba. But while I was waiting for them to get there, because they had to take the bus from Granada to Cordoba for the day, I went on the guided tour and I saw some really cool stuff. We went to the mosque cathedral. It was amazing. Cordoba was one of my favorite places I went, I think. So when we came back, it was the beginning of March. At some point before Granada, I went to the Hogueras Museum, and I talked to Taylor from my program, and we were like amazed at these sculptures, and we were like, we need to see this celebration, like this is something we can't miss. So we booked a room with an Airbnb to stay in Valencia for 3 nights during Las Fallas. A week before that, I hadn't really been going anywhere, I didn't do any more bus trips. But I walked around Alicante on the weekends and thought about where I'd like to go next and just enjoyed Alicante. Oh, and I went to my family's farm. When they canceled the FIES, I knew that that was bad. And that was the first time that I thought, wow, my program is going to end sooner than I want it to. The President of the United States declared a travel ban. And that's when everyone else, it seems, but me, got woken up at 2 a.m. that night by frantic phone calls from their families saying that there was a travel ban, freaking out, being like, you have to get home right now, stuff like that. And that night also, when I was talking to my mom, we made the decision that we were going to buy my ticket to go home early. And also, that was also the night that we got the email from CIEE saying that classes were going to be only online. I bought a ticket for not the next day, but the day after that. So I'd be going home. My flight would be on, I think it was, yeah, Saturday. And then I'd get home on a Sunday because it was a 12-hour flight directly to LA. And I did that because I didn't want to risk stopping in another state. I didn't know what procedures they'd have me do if I stopped somewhere else, so I just went straight to LA. And I ended up being, well, from Madrid to LA, and I ended up being very happy that I did that because when I got to LA, it took me 4 hours to get through the customs and everything line. And it was terrible. None of us were 6 feet apart from each other. I'm amazed, honestly, that I didn't catch anything because, like, there was definitely fear there. There was fear that through just my travel day, I would have caught possibly the virus. And my family risked getting it to bring me home, to hug me when I got back into the airport. And my boyfriend too. He was there and he hugged me and he quit work so he could live with me during this time and make sure I was okay. And we took our temperatures every day to twice a day to make sure it wasn't changing, to make sure I wasn't developing a fever, and neither was he. It was really rough leaving. It was sad because it was this was an opportunity that I waited for a long time. I just knew my whole life that I was going to do it, and there was nothing that was going to stop me, basically. I knew that I couldn't just live in my little bubble here. I needed to expand my horizons. I needed to go somewhere else and experience a new culture, just something new. It's just because of this virus that is dangerous for everyone, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing right now in life. So I'm happy and sad to be home because I'm with my family. I'm getting quality time with the people I love that otherwise might not have been possible. I didn't think I'd be making this video from home. I still have all the experiences that I went through when I was there. I'll have memories. I'll have this journal. I'll write about Granada and Cordoba soon. I have other things I need to add. It was an amazing experience, but I don't think I'll ever forget the people that I met. I really hope I can return someday, and I hope that it's possible that my cultural partner, Judith, she says she wants to visit, I hope she can someday, and I hope other people can someday. That would be super cool for someone that I met in Spain to come and visit me here, because I saw some of their world. It would be really cool if they could see some of mine too.